Good morning. My name is John with the Pine Tree. I have the great pleasure of being here with Gay Callan. And thank you very much for...
Hi there.
And as many of you know, she is one of the, I guess the founders, of the whole wine industry here, or one of, in the whole area. And we wanted to, these little pieces we wanted to try to, is to get acquainted with some of the business leaders in the area and learn a little bit more about the background. And thank you for joining us this morning.
You're very welcome. I'm delighted to be here.
In your own facility.
In my own facility.
See, we just invaded their tasting room and now we act like we own it, which
but
is
it's
not,
better to be seen than not seen, so
yeah.
That's why I'm delighted to be here.
Well, how did you get into this industry?
This is really unfair. It's kind of like, have you got about 5 hours to go?
Oh, sure, yeah. Well, it takes about 90 minutes.
About 90, so I'm glad. I don't think it'll take that long. But to make a really long story short, a portion of my mother's family had been in ranching. For a number of generations. They were Italian from northern Italy. Their name was Chatom. Came over from Italy. They changed their name to Chatham, C-H-A-T-O-M, and landed in the Central Valley.
Okay.
So landed in Turlock and the Tulare area. Same person.
Okay.
And which was in the 1800s was about 15,000 acres.
Real small. I mean,
not
not
much
very
at
small.
all.
Yeah,
Not much
yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
And if anyone knows Turlock, it's pretty flat. So was my grandmother when I was a little girl, as far as the eye could see.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So they had cattle, they had corn and different row crops.
Sure.
And then in the Tulare area, it was cotton and safflower, and that ranch was about 6,000 acres. Over time, because my great-grandfather, I believe it was a gambler, as I knew the ranches growing up, the Turlock Ranch ended up being about 600 to 800 acres, and the Tulare Ranch ended up being about 2,000 to 3,000 acres. So there was, I guess, more, not money exchange, but land exchange when you gambled way back when.
But in some ways, that was kind of, I mean, that was a great time to be in the Central Valley, because that was when, you know, it was the breadbasket. I mean, it still is, but it's changing. But I mean, it was...
Well, Turlock is definitely
like,
not what it used to be.
No, not at all. No.
So in the late 70s, I was born and raised in San Francisco. We had the opportunity.
You're quite the city girl, so that's what, you know. Right?
Well, I've been up here for 27 years now, so not so city anymore.
Right.
We had the opportunity to expand on the ranching and farming interests, and I had a ranch consultant who had been with our family for a number of years by the name of Eldred Lane, and he was familiar with the Mountain Ranch area and Calaveras County, and made the suggestion of us looking at properties here and diversifying. And so we started to look here. I was introduced to Bart Stevenow, who had Stevenow Winery, and it sort of evolved into I would be purchasing a piece of property, planting vineyard, selling the fruit to Barton under contract, and the rest just sort of fell into place. So it was the old Davis Higgins Ranch that, and a number of other people that had owned it, you know, as time had gone through. It's located out in the beautiful Esmeralda Valley, and it's about 1,000 acres today. When we purchased it, it was probably 600 to 700 acres.
Wow, so you've added on to it.
We've added on to it. Just there were little mining claims, old mining claims and things. And the property itself, the valley itself was plantable. So today we have 64 acres of fruit.
Okay.
I started planting the vineyard in '81. And planted it in 3 different phases.
Sure.
So the initial interest was to sell all the fruit in somewhere in, I'm trying to make this story shorter than 5 hours long. So I had no interest in building a winery, none at all. I mean, that was not my forte. Well, and I had to learn about how to put the right end of the grape, the plant into the ground.
Sure.
So I went back to Davis. I didn't need another degree. I had enough to get me started, and none of them were in agriculture. I left my computer job, moved up here, and lock, stock, and barrel, and I haven't left.
Very nice.
So in '85, this Stevenow Winery group could not take our Sauvignon Blanc, and that's when we started a custom crush scenario.
So it was basically out of necessity almost.
Out of
You didn't
necessity.
find-
Well, that was also the year that Gallo dumped about 250 to 300,000 gallons of white into the marketplace. And
All right.
so push came to shove. That's when the Chatham label was started in 1985. So from 85 till 1990, I used custom crush operations.
Okay.
And in 1990, I started this venture. And so with the vineyard being out on Esmeralda Road,
Right.
we have about 14 varietals of grapes, all hand cultivated. My foreman and assistant foreman have been with me for 27 years.
That says a lot. That says a lot.
David Basham and Larry Rush, they're absolutely hysterical. I love them to death. Like, it's just old family out there. I have been known to be the grandmother of the wineries and the vineyards, but I only because
she said it on camera. I didn't say it. I didn't.
Only because I've been here that long, not because of my age. I look really good for 95.
Yes, you do.
I had to say it because I knew that somebody else would if I didn't. At any rate, they've been with me since the inception.
Right.
And when I started this location, the winery location, which is on Highway 4 in Douglas Flat, that was in 1990 we opened. So the tasting room, the offices, and the first portion of the cellar opened up then.
Now, say from when you were starting, was it basically you and Steveno? Was that who else was here?
Actually, in the early 80s, Barton was making wine. Black Sheep had bought from
That's
Chispa
right.
Cellars. Then we had Milliere coming in, and then I was still doing the custom crush. Ironstone opened up their winery about the same time that we did in 1990.
All right.
So, and then from then on, it was.
Katie barred the door.
Oh my God! What do we have? 21 or 22 wineries
Yeah.
today, and this is 2008. So,
Yeah.
and more to come, as I understand. As we evolved, though, a portion of my family did not want to stay involved with the agriculture concerns.
Okay.
So in 1985, we sold the Turlock Ranch and the Tulare Ranch.
Okay.
So that from 85 on, I am the sole owner of the Chatham Vineyards up here. People come up from Turlock and still, the school is still there, the Chatham School is still there because a number of our relatives had been teachers down in that neck of the woods. So it's really kind of fun to have people coming up from Turlock and saying, "Are you related at all?" And, yes, I am. That's old family. And then the Tulare Ranch is no longer in Chatham. That was sold off to the J.G. Boswell Company.
Okay.
So since 85 on, it's basically I'm it. My oldest son's name is Chatham. I kept that family name going. My second son's name is Mike. I have Sam is my youngest son, and Georgina is my youngest daughter. And my husband George does not partake in the winery unless we really need him to schlep wine back and forth or something. But George is a school teacher, so he'd rather have that profession. Than my profession.
But I did see him carrying a case or two around, doing some PR work, I think, up at Bear or something.
Yes,
I think that was.
He does deliveries. We forget the BOLs every now and then, but the bills of lading. But no, he's great. He helps out. He helps out when we need help.
Yeah.
And when we opened this in 1990, Diane Hewlett, who runs our tasting room, has been here since 1990.
Wow.
We've had a couple of changes over the years. I think Margot is the next seasoned tasting room aficionado, and then I've got a wonderful crew.
Yeah.
I mean, the ladies that I have in the office. We're more known as the female winery.
Yes, we haven't got to the she wine.
No, we haven't gotten to that yet. But right now most of the people that work here at the winery are women. Our winemaker Mark came on with us in the fall of 2004, and
you've welcomed him?
Yes, we did.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
Yes, we did.
He tiptoed in. He didn't,
No, actually, he didn't have to tiptoe.
Okay,
He just.
all right.
I may be sort of going too fast. He has been an incredible addition, and just the quality and the care and the artistry and the handcrafting that he has brought to our table has just been really amazing. You know, so delightful man to be working with. And I don't consider myself, I am the superior in the sense that I have to sign the checks.
Sure.
But I mean, really, all of us work together as a team.
Yeah.
It's not who's on first and what's on second.
And one of the things I want to say I've been impressed is you do a lot of your outbound marketing yourself, don't you? I mean, a lot of no, I mean, as far as working with your distributors and brokers and stuff. I mean, I think it's impressive to see. I mean, you travel a lot, probably more than you would like to, almost.
Oh, much more than I'd like to. But that's the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
Today is it's a lot more difficult today to place your wine than it was when we started.
Right.
And part of that is because there are so many more wineries.
Mm-hmm.
Calaveras County is an up and coming region.
Right.
The Sierra Foothills has been a very quiet, kind of mysterious, understated region, and it just to prove that it's happening, it's coming along. Knowing that how many years ago when I started there were only a handful of wineries, and today we're going on 22.
Yeah.
The Sierra Foothills themselves goes from the Nevada County border, all the way down to Mariposa. And so we have 11 counties in the Sierra Foothills. I'm really not sure if El Dorado is larger than Amador. Amador, I believe, is larger than the rest of us are, but we all complement each other. And there's so many more styles of wines today than there were way back when.
Right.
That it's really fabulous what all of us are able to offer.
Now, when you're on the East Coast or something, do you try to sell the foothills as a block, or just Calaveras County specifically, or does that ever come into play? I mean, for me personally, if I'm doing a tasting, whether it's in San Francisco or New York, I would obviously I'm selling my wine. I'm selling the Chatham label, of course,
but I'm selling the region.
Right.
So that it behooves me to take our maps. It behooves me to take save the date cards.
Sure.
I take not just the Calaveras Wine Association map, but a regional map, so that people can now. I can stand at a table. I can look at the person across the table and say, "This is where Calaveras County is.
Right.
This is how far it is from San Francisco. This is how far it is from Tahoe. This is how far it is from Sacramento." With looking at that, I would say 20 years ago, nobody knew where we were. And I think I know who you are because of Mark Twain and the Dunning Frog.
Sure.
And today they know the region.
Yeah.
So it works for all of us if we're all marketing a region. We can sell our own wine, and I have different varietals from another winery, but it makes it more of a partnership if we're out there
with the area.
Yeah, exactly.
I know you've been intimately involved, but can you tell? I mean, it almost seems like now that the Calaveras County region, and including up to Western Alpine County, this whole area is, a lot of time business things, they call it the tipping point. It's all of a sudden it's coming of age, so to speak. Do you see that at all, or is it, as far as where we're going forward, as far as traffic numbers, as far as tourists and business activity in general, do you think
Are we tapped out?
Well, no, not tipping point is what I guess I probably should have explained. There's a couple things where, things build and build and build, and then all of a sudden they get to a point to where it takes it up to that next level, a significant level of growth as far as a destination. I think one of the things questions we're seeing is that from the Bay Area with Calaveras County as a destination, sometimes it's almost, if you're comparing this to like Lake Tahoe or something like that, with the traffic on the weekends now, it's becoming where Tahoe's not even really a possibility. If you want to spend 6-7 hours in the car, here you don't have to do that, right? That's what I meant.
If I have to spend more than 5 minutes waiting at the driveway to get out on the road, I get annoyed.
Yeah.
But that hasn't happened yet.
Right, but I think it looks, but if you're talking to enough people, it seems like the next few years, even with the incredible growth that we've had, it seems like that it's becoming now to where Calaveras County with the wine, with the combination of the wineries and the other things it has to offer, is becoming just purely a destination in and of itself, which should be good for everybody. I mean, is that?
I think that it is.
Sorry, I got us sidetracked here.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. I like seeing the growth that's happening. I like seeing the fact that more people are coming to our region for either for golf, or to visit with the wineries, or to go snow skiing, or visit big trees, or water, rafting, or whatever it is. I would love to see more diversification within the region. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
And not that I don't want to see more wineries in Murphy's, but in order for the county to be successful, it would be great to have more exposure in Angels Camp, what's going on in McCollum Hill, what's going on, sorry, I didn't mean to leave out San Andreas, but if we're focusing just on one little town,
of course.
it's going to be overkill.
Yes.
And for the whole county to be successful, I think we all need to. It's like we're the Calaveras Wine Association. So
not
all
the
of us,
Murphy's Wine Association.
Right. Well, but I'm not in Murphy's.
No, I know you're not. I know.
I can't say I'm the Murphy's Wine Association. I would love to see more tasting rooms and wineries come in to be able to spread the wealth out within the community itself. I love all the wineries that are in Murphy's. I love them. I mean, they're great, and all of us complement and work very well together.
Oh, I think so.
I think that with more businesses, hopefully there are more businesses coming up to our region, and we're seeing an increase in tourism. The economy right now, it's January 2008. We've got elections around the corner and all kinds of things going on.
There's the R word now, and in the economy, it's creeping in every little bit.
I know.
But now that we got sidetracked, we'll get back. Now, on to your wines. Now we'll get back to the...
Oh, now we got to get back to the wines. Okay.
Now, I guess one of the things that's been... like the She Wines. Tell us a little bit about how that whole thing.
That's a fun package for us. That's a really fun package. In 2002, Mari Wells came on with us, and she had done an internship at Gloria Ferrer. And so, actually, I think she came in 2001. And I'm so old that I don't remember when she came in. No, I'm joking. At any rate, that's when it was all female. We had female winemaker, the whole scenario, and we had there was some Zinfandel that was brought in that a vineyard just couldn't find a home for, and so called us up and said, "Would you take this? We'd be happy to have you, utilize this." And so Mari agreed to take it on, and so we're sitting there trying to figure out what to do with the Zinfandel. It was about 16% alcohol at the time, and we thought, okay, let's do this kind of fun package. And a portion of the proceeds that we did this new label, and we decided that a portion of the proceeds would go to women's heart disease research. And without getting involved with the huge companies, we decided to do the donation to our local chapter for heart disease research and women's heart concerns. So that's how it started with Mari. So when Mari was leaving in 2004, she fell in love. She moved to Grass Valley. She got married, and there was really no way of stopping a one-way 2-hour commute.
Sometimes that happens.
You can't stop it. So she introduced Mark to us, and Mark said he would agree to continue with the package as long as he didn't have to wear the dress.
There you go. Yes, there you
go. For us, it was a no-brainer. It's a really fun screw cap. We retail it at about $12 in the marketplace, and it's been a very successful.
And it's built a really nice following. Hasn't it?
It has.
It really has built a nice.
I mean, one of the things that we did do with Mark Twain, St. Joseph's Hospital, was work with them for the February, heart disease, type of thing, and so the red pin and all of that, and so that's been a really fun partnership with us. And Mark actually came up with the She White package, and we also contribute to the breast cancer research for the local chapter as well. So there's not a lot of inventory of either of the wines. The blend for both of them changes on an annual basis. So the original blend of the She wine was this kind of high octane Zinfandel with some Averell Howe, which is one of our Portuguese varietals. And then the next vintage was Merlot with Cabernet and I think it was Cabernet and Zinfandel. And then this third round has been a Heinz 57 of Merlot, Zinfandel, Sangiovese, Syrah, or Cabernet, and Touriga Nacional. So we've had a lot of fun with it, and especially with February being, heart concern, we're definitely doing a big push for that. So we're having fun with the package, and Mark is doing a great job with it. But it does, the blend changes, the philosophy doesn't. Yeah. So it's really been a fun venture for us.
Now, how many different lines, like your product mix? How is it? I mean, what's how many different lines?
Everything that we make is from our own vineyard.
Okay.
So that our annual production is probably somewhere between 8,500 and 9,000 cases.
Wow.
We don't want to produce more than that.
Right.
We do fill in with a little bit of Sangiovese and a little bit of Syrah, but when I'm saying that, it's just a few tons here or a few tons there. We purchased a little bit of Petit Syrah as well, but for the most part, found your niche. Everything it comes from our own vineyard. We have so in the tasting room we do have 4 whites. We have the Semillon, which is dry. That's out of the tasting room, solely out of the tasting room, and the She White is solely out of the tasting room. Then we have our Chardonnay and our Sauvignon Blanc, which are unoaked, so there's no oaked to those 2 whites. Those are very successful packages for us, and 2 varietals that we've been very successful with from the beginning.
Right.
So those are wines that have really been mainstays for us.
That people,
they're familiar with.
That's their, one of your mains.
Yeah, and the style of those 2 wines really stays the same. So that it's interesting. The Sauvignon Blanc is not a bone dry, grassy, weedy, Sauvignon Blanc. It has a lot of melon characteristic to it, and we do blend a little bit of our Semillon into it. And then the Chardonnay is more of a crisp, apple, delightful, refreshing, Chardonnay. The reds, we do have a Sangiovese that we call our Gitano, and all the reds are dry. Actually, all of our wines are dry with the exception of the Portuguese variety that we make. So going through the lineup, we do have a Sangiovese that we call Gitano. We have a red Zinfandel, a Syrah, Cabernet, Merlot. I'm going to forget something. We do have an Esmeralda, which is the high end of our Syrah, and then we have port. So I probably forgot something in the lineup, but it's for the most part, doing 8,500 cases of wine. About a little over a third of it is sold out of the tasting room. About 17 to 18% is through our wine club. Sure. And then the rest of it is through distribution channels throughout the United States. We're in about 10 or 11 states right now. Yeah, it's kind of fun. But here it is. This is the January. But
that's a lot
season.
Of work too to do those 10 or 11 states.
I have a great gal that works with me in sales on a part-time basis. Sure. And so when she's in Arizona, I'm in Boston, or when she's in Florida, I'm in Connecticut or something like that. So most salespeople don't want to see you in December and early January. They just they're recovering, and so are we for that matter. And so really February on.
Start the February
February till October. It's nonstop.
Well, thank you for doing what you do. I mean, it's
I enjoy it.
It's a wonderful. You're an integral part of this whole community, and I think it's nice to have seen the whole thing grow and mature.
It certainly isn't what I thought it was going to be. I mean, it really is a labor of love. I live at the vineyard, and to see the seasons, it's just awesome. I mean, it really is awesome. And to think that I've been there since 1980, it just doesn't make sense that much time has passed.
Now, I know your kids are spread all over the world, but I mean, do you think any of them will come back and join you in the
Absolutely
business?
not.
No, they're not going to, not at all, huh? All right.
I don't think so. I think that, not that they don't want to work. I think if they were a little bit older, if they were older, it might be something different. But for right now, I didn't start this for them. And if they so choose to come into it, I'd love it. My oldest did. They've all helped in one way, shape, or form, whether it's been at harvest or helping with marketing or something. But I don't see today. I don't see them doing that. I think they all have their own interests.
Their own little niche, which is good. But, well, thank you for spending the time with us.
Good to see you.
We really appreciate it, and come on into Chatham. And it's right along Highway 4. In Douglas Flat.
In Douglas Flat.
Not Murphy's. It's Douglas Flat. So.
It's okay. We're just west of Murphy's. We're a mile and a half west of Murphy's. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Oh my God, that's just going to be hysterical.